Hi, I'm Sara Hadgraft with Sparrow Counseling, and this is my team. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and a licensed professional counselor. I want you to meet the rest of my team. This is David.
Hello.
And David, what are you?
I'm an associate licensed counselor.
Okay.
And I'm Peyton Richard, a licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Sha Wortman, a licensed professional counselor.
Yes. Sparrow Counseling, doing our first coffee talk, basically. And one question we had was, let's talk about what level of conflict is appropriate to have in front of kids. It's a good question. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think there's varying levels of conflict. Some conflict can be really good. It helps kids learn to negotiate, helps them to emotion regulate or self-regulate, to advocate for themselves. But then some conflict can get out of hand, and if you're not good at managing your emotions or managing conflict, then, what are you teaching them?
Right,
but kids are always watching. I think parents think they can hide in the bedroom or, do it privately, but they are watching.
It's rarely not caught by the kids regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're trying to go behind closed doors, you have the conversation. We're going to step away and we're going to have a conversation because we feel like that would be more appropriate. But the other thing I think you have to be really considerate of is the developmental stage of your children. Because if you're having a conversation that feels tense and you have a child that's really young and you think, oh, they're not going to know, this isn't, they're not going to understand that this is an argument. I think we have a lot of research that points to they pick up on our nervous system, they pick up on our reactions, and that can be really difficult for kids to process at a young age because they're activated in a way and they don't have the development yet to be able to process it properly, and kids are always invariably going to think it's about them.
Right.
Yep.
And I like how you said, you're communicating with the kid at their developmental level. We're going to step away to have a conversation, not an argument. So I think it goes back to the key point is if you are going to go to another room to have the conversation, then you have to be regulated still behind the closed door. Because even if the kid, if you're in another room, they can hear mom and dad shouting and yelling.
Sure.
So if we haven't regulated ourselves, that may be a point we take a time out and say, we're going to need to revisit this later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think timeouts are going to be key to make sure that you're even able to have the conversation and to model for kids, hey, I feel really like I'm going to lose it. I need at least 20 minutes. That's what research tells us to calm down so I can try to get into my right logical thinking brain to have a better conversation with you.
Yeah.
And it's a good relational skill, a timeout.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because our brains can't move from the emotional part of the brain into the logical part if they haven't had time to calm down your body. So I also think about with co-parents, I often will hear co-parents say, well, no, I know I'm not supposed to talk negatively about the other parent. I never do that. And I say, really? Because 90% of our communication is body language. So do you get a text message from your co-parent, look at it in front of your child and go, and throw your phone aside? Kids watch that. They know exactly how you feel about each other.
Yes.
I was thinking too, we were talking about parents and co-parents in their communication, but it also occurred to me about, oftentimes before school for kids can be really emotional, and parents, we were even talking about that earlier, like getting your kids ready for school and out the door. And there's research around once their amygdala is activated, it takes a child about 40 minutes to be able to come back down to calm, to be able to activate the real learning parts of their brain. So are we dropping off an activated at school?
Because you don't have 40 minutes to not calm them down.
You don't. Exactly. So, and that struck me that in all likelihood that's happening when there's arguments with parents too.
So that's really interesting thing about 20 minutes for the adult to get self-regulated, 40 minutes for the child.
They're still learning.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that.
I imagine it's more impactful for kids because that's their whole space.
Yes.
We have a lot of resources as adults to like access to cool us off or to reassure ourselves or to, like calm down. But kids, you're their whole world. And especially when you're fighting with their parent, it's like, oh, half of my world is wrong, half of my world is right. And I loved what you were talking about of like walking away to have a conversation, because then it makes it seem like fighting is bad. How often do I talk to couples where they're like, we need your help to stop fighting, and it's like, fighting's not the problem, how you're fighting is the problem. Like fighting we shouldn't avoid, we need to like embrace conflict. Yes, it'll suck, but we'll get through it.
Right.
So I think that's where it can really help, like how we discuss conflict and not turning into this big scary monster that we all have to hide from, or it's so impactful, but instead like, here's how you manage it when you're in it.
And then going behind and saying, you know what, Dad and I, Mom and I don't always agree. Sometimes we're not on the same page, or we have a different priorities in the moment or whatever, and it's okay to be able to have those conversations, and we're okay and you're okay, but we need to be able to settle these, but we're all safe and it's all okay.
I think that also lends, like, we don't always agree because we're different people. And I think that's really powerful for a couple to realize, like, it's okay that we have differences. It's really creates a vital relationship. It's just how we discuss and deal with the differences. So that's a good, that makes a lot of sense. So thanks for listening today. If any of you ever need any help in regards to this or anything else, we encourage you to reach out to Sparrow Counseling. Look at our website. We've worked really hard on our website to make sure that it has lots of resources. But there are also other resources that we are willing to share if there's anything that you might need help with.
Well, and then if there's any other topics that you would like for us to share or discuss, and we'd be happy to hear.
Send your questions in.
Yes.
And we're willing to do the best at taking a shot as therapists, answering your questions.
And thanks for tuning in today.
Oh, thanks for tuning in today.
Well, and